Celebrities in the basement, the place to be. Karen Wilder Martin on your TV. Politics, drama, music, sports, arts. Favorite celebs, climbing the charts. First-hand info on the live. Careers, next projects on the rise. Come visit Karen every week. Never know who's in the hot seat. Celebrities in the basement is the place to be. You got Karen Wilder Martin on your TV screen. Celebrities in the basement is the place to be. You got Karen Wilder Martin on your TV screen.
Good evening, I'm Karen Wilder Martin. Good evening. I'm Karen Waller Martin for Moorish Entertainment Community Foundation, and welcome to Celebrities in the Basement. Tonight, I am truly elated. Entrepreneur, multi-award-winning author, screenplay writer, songwriter, public speaker, producer, director. He's a father, and he's the godfather of urban fiction. Philadelphia's own Omar Tyree. Wait a minute. Applause track. Wait a minute. Let me just say, I'm out of breath with all those accolades, and I forgot. Let's talk about it. Yes. I forgot a couple, didn't I?
I'm a hyper kid. That's what Mom used to call me. He's hyper.
Yes.
So of course he call you bad when you busy.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
My mother, she was always creative with words. Mm-hmm. He's not bad. He's just hyper. He's a little hyper.
Yes. Let's talk about, before we get into deep into the American disease.
Yeah.
Let's just go back for a little bit, a couple years. Let's like 20 years or whatever. When you first realized,
20 years.
Yes, at least.
Yeah.
That writing was my career.
Well, I was always a storyteller. Mm-hmm. So I tell people, my mother was the oldest of 8 in West Philly, and my father was the oldest of 4. And so that put me around a bunch of aunts and uncles who were younger than my parents, and so they were taking me everywhere, and I was going everywhere. So I had adult ears, so to speak. I had adult eyes. I was around a whole lot of stuff that if you in a nuclear household, you ain't around all that stuff.
Yes.
But I was around the baby boomers, and we had like 15 people in the house sometimes, particularly in 38th Street where I grew up in the bottom.
Yes.
And so we had like 300-400 people on that block, and every house had 15 people. So it was a lot of stories going on.
Yes.
And so I just picked that up, and then I didn't really start writing stories until I got to college. But I was always a storyteller, from movies and from things happening in the neighborhood.
Yes.
I had big ears and big eyes, and I was taking it all in.
So, and speaking of taking it all in, and that's where you get your inspiration from, how you grew up. When in some of your novels, and I'm sure all your fans, they're reading. Family and friends, are they seeing their stories in your novels? What are they saying about it?
Well, when I first came out, I was a little nervous with the first book. It was called Colored on White Campus, because I had a whole lot of language in there. But it was like language that kids use, teenagers, people in college. And so I was a little nervous. And my mom was like, well, y'all use that kind of language. So after that, I kind of relaxed a little bit. And then, from there, Fly Girl was the second book.
Yes.
That was the second. And then the language and the sexuality. But again, I'm telling the truth. It wasn't like I was lying about anything. And then after that, Capital City, language is even harder, because now you're talking about the drug dealing of Washington, D.C. and the murders and whatnot of Washington, D.C. And so, they was a little nervous when I first started, but once I understood that you have to use the real language of the people and how they speak, I was fine with it. And then most of the stuff I was writing about was right on point moralistically, and it was lessons involved. So I felt kind of, confident about what I was saying in the book. I wasn't trying to say riffraff, but
yes.
The language at first, I was a little leery.
Well, you had your mom to say, patting you on the back, pushing you, saying, this is the real language, do it. When you have mom backing you, that's all you need. You know what I mean?
Well,
that's the first person that really pushed you.
She didn't know I was going to, make a living writing books. Because I was always a movie guy. I wasn't reading books. We were always going to the movies. My whole family was into going to movies. You know? So we would go to those triple features. They had a theater called the Capitol Center at 52nd Street. And I used to walk up Lancaster Avenue with my two uncles, Andre and Monte.
Yes.
And them jokers were talking about everybody they saw. You look at him, she got big feet. Look at her, she got a monkey.
Yes.
And so they was just making jokes. We called it bussing back then. Bussing on people. And so I'm just laughing the whole time. And then we go in there and watch 3 movies. and I come out with voices and stuff and all the the characters.
Wow.
And then my
Wow.
uncle's like, hey man, tell them what happened in the movie. And so I became like the little parakeet from the movie to tell them that then this happened, then that, and then I was
Wow.
doing voices and all the stuff. They like he didn't memorize the whole movie. Hey, do the part from the movie.
Amazing,
and so that's where it came
amazing.
from. Yeah.
World-renowned author. Now you have movies on the IMDb chart. That's real.
We working
Let's
on
talk
it right
about
now.
that. Yes,
the Fly
yes.
Girl, that's basically right here in this area. And you guys now know why they call it in the basement, because you come downstairs
Yes,
and you
yes.
get interviewed in the basement. I was
Yes.
like, what's this in the basement
Yes,
for?
yes.
But it's funny, you guys are right here in Chestnut Hill. We used to have a Super Fresh across the street.
Yes.
And we used to go in there and carry people's bags to the car for $1, 25 cents, whatever it was.
Yes.
And so we used to make money on Saturdays carrying, bags to the car. And so it was our hustle station right up here. We used to walk up here from Mount Airy up to Chestnut Hill.
Yes.
And then they had a movie, the Eric 1 and 2, that was up here too.
Absolutely,
So I
yes.
saw the Star Wars, the Part 2. What's it called? Daggone the Darth Empire Strikes Back.
Shame on me, I'm not a Star Wars
Yeah,
fan.
you Star
Shame
Wars.
on me, shame on
I saw
me.
Empire Strikes Back over here, and then Return of the Jedi too.
Okay,
Yeah,
yes.
a couple other movies.
You sparked something. You were an entrepreneur at a young age,
Yeah.
carrying groceries to the car.
Yeah. Well,
for
that
$1.
was late. Early, I was
Yes.
going to get groceries for my grandmother in
Yes,
West Philly.
yes.
I'd get like $1, a quarter, or whatever. And then I started mowing lawns.
Yes.
And then you start shoveling snow.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
so you been doing it. This was a late hustle. I was
Yes.
a teenager. I've been hustling before then.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
so I was always a hustler.
Speaking of film, let's
Yeah.
continue on the film. You on a 3-film contract now? Let's talk about it.
Well, right now they have the rights to the Fly Girl trilogy, which is 3 books.
Yes.
Fly Girl, For the Love of Money, and Boss Lady.
Yes.
But right now they only focused on the first one, which is Fly Girl, the teenage vehicle. She grows up and For the Love of Money, and then she becomes an entrepreneur herself with Boss Lady. And so they have the trilogy. But we're gonna start off with the first one first.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So how did that come about?
We've been pushing for years. There's a guy by the name of Jeff Flanagan, who is a big dog at Cold Black Films. And so he's the same guy that hooked up with Kevin Hart, and they did Laugh at My Pain and a whole bunch of other movies. Well, I've been meeting with Jeff Flanagan out in California since like 2003.
Of Cold Black.
Yeah,
Yes.
Cold Black. He had another company, and I forget the name of it, but he was always doing like comedy, movies and whatnot.
Yes.
That's why he linked up with Kevin Hart. And so when we hooked up back then, he was always talking about Fly Girl. But at that point, he wasn't in the theatrical, movies yet. He was doing straight DVD.
Okay, he didn't get distribution deal.
Yeah, he wasn't, well, he had distribution, but it was straight, it wasn't like theater stuff.
Okay, yes.
So I'm like, I can't. And so once he ended up doing a deal with Lionsgate and they started putting stuff out in theaters, I had a team that was like, come on, Omar, what you gonna do?
Yes.
And so for the last, 3-4 years, they've been in development. And now I'm getting kind of impatient. So I'm like, hey man, let's get this thing pumping. And so now I'm coming out with a re-release of the Fly Girl Mass Market. And we're gonna start talking about the movie. I'm gonna do a new tour with it and get these new millennials reading the book, because a lot of them are not hip to it yet. Yeah, so I'm putting that book back out and doing a whole tour on it and talking about the movie come September and October.
Wendy Williams coined you the king of self-promotion.
Yeah.
You are truly, truly that. What, and just giving some advice to writers, screenwriters, as well as book authors, giving them some advice. How do they get their books in the hands of fans? How do they get their movies seats in the theater?
You got different methods, because I've been around Zane, and everybody knows Zane for her work.
Absolutely.
Zane is the opposite. I'm a big mouth dude, Zane is very soft-spoken, quiet.
Yes.
But what she did, when she shows up at a lot of events that has a lot of people, she has a little booklet, and she gets everybody's emails. Can I have your email? Can I have you? Nice and soft.
Yes.
And I'm watching her like,
Right,
and so she takes that email base, goes home, and then emails all those people with the stuff that she was writing.
Yes.
Which, you know, is kind of, you know, closet stuff. You know,
Exactly, yes,
So
yes,
she
yes,
couldn't
yes,
be
yes.
loud, you
Exactly,
know. She
yes.
had to be nice and in the pocket and then send her stuff. And they're like, whoa. And then they read it online. And so
Yes,
they became
yes, yes.
these huge Zane fans. So it's a different approach to how
Absolutely.
you do it.
Absolutely.
You know, Elin Harris, he had like a whole marketing team. You know, he was coming from IBM. So he had that corporate structure. You know, and then Michael Bazin was a loudmouth like I was.
Yes,
You know,
yes,
then he had
yes.
that radio show that he was doing. And so it's different methods.
And a couple of my author friends, Karen Keonis Miller,
Yeah,
is my
yeah.
heart.
And she was a hard
Yes,
worker,
Brenda
yeah.
L. Thomas.
Yeah.
Yes, actually, we're making Brenda L. Thomas laying down my burdens. I'm directing her film for that
Oh, good
for
deal.
that book.
Good
Yes,
deal.
I'm excited about that.
How long y'all been working on that?
It's been a process,
Yeah,
about
that's
4
what it
years
is,
now.
A process.
You
So
know,
Fly Girl's been a process.
It's
and
a process.
Been wearing me out.
it wears you out, you
Yeah.
know, because you need the money.
Yeah,
You know,
and
you don't
wanna
want
make
to
it
do
happen. The fans keep asking you about it.
Yes.
When's Fly Girl coming? When's
Yes,
Fly? I'm like,
yes,
hey man,
yes, yes.
every day, you know.
So let's talk more about Fly Girls. Do you have written who's going to play
No.
Tracy? Not
No,
yet.
they don't
Okay.
have any of that. They
Okay.
won't even let me see it. I've been begging to see the script so I can see what they're working with. Let me help you.
Yes, yes.
You know, let me
yes.
get Philadelphia right.
Right.
You don't want no Hollywoodization out here. We got to make sure we
Yes.
sticking to the Philadelphia that I wrote about and I know.
Yes,
But you know,
yes.
you don't control that because they put the money up.
Absolutely.
But at least
yeah,
I
because
can
they
see.
switch their book into a screen. It's a different process. It's a transition from novel
It doesn't
to
have
screen.
to be. It doesn't have to be. You know, but that's how a lot of people look at it. But it doesn't have to be. You know, when you write a good vehicle, and Fly Girl was a very active book. It wasn't
Absolutely.
about, you know, a whole bunch of words. It was about people and activity.
Yes,
So when you write
yes.
that style of book, all you got to do is do exactly what the book does.
Right.
So, you know, now you can't do every page, so you're going to cut down to the beef of it.
Yes.
But for the most part, you can really mimic what I already did in the book. You don't
Because
have to
it's
change it.
action. It's action in the book.
Yeah,
so
it's
you don't need to.
action-oriented. Yeah,
Absolutely.
so you
absolutely.
don't need to create new stuff and create. It's enough drama and enough characters in there. So you got to pull some out.
Yes.
But you don't need to deviate from it. But again, if you don't control it with the money, you got to go ahead and negotiate.
Absolutely.
You know how much the authentic story you want to keep in there.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Then let's talk about some of your inspirations. Who inspires you as an author as well as a screenplay writer?
Well, for the most part, it was the people that inspired me. I can't really say
Right,
other
yes,
authors. You know,
yes.
I wasn't reading like that. You know, I was
Yes,
about
yes.
the people. So whenever I wrote something and people got excited, it got me excited. So I said, I got to do this again.
Yes.
You know, so the people excite me, not another author. You
I
know,
see,
so I've
I
always
see.
been like, it's about the people I'm writing for.
Yes.
And I tell other authors that, hey, Omar, can you read my work? It will really. And I said, I'm gonna read it if I can. But I'm not going to be the one read. You know, I'm just one person.
Yes.
It's the audience you want to get to. So don't think about, you know, my thing like that. And so, yeah, for the most part, I always thought more about the audience. But
Talk about some of your challenges that you've come across. And
Publicity.
Publicity.
and
okay.
that's why I became the king of self-promotion.
Yes, yes.
Because I had to force myself on a lot of shows. And then once we start getting too much publicity, the radio stations start closing the doors on authors. They said, number one, they're not doing music, so we ain't
Yes.
making no money off the music.
Yes.
They don't advertise with us. You know what I mean? So why we keep giving them free publicity with these book signers and stuff? And so then I had to basically keep talking my way onto the radio station.
Yes,
And then
yes.
Wendy used to have me on doing, you know, relationship talk.
Yes,
And so
yes,
she
you
would have,
did.
and then
Yes,
I come
you did.
on. So any way I could get on there, I come back on there.
Yes.
And then I go ahead and plug the stuff I'm working on. And so she be like, Omar, you know, you always put, yeah, I gotta promote it. You know what I
Yes,
mean? Like
yes.
if I'm not paying somebody else to do it, I gotta open my mouth and say what I'm working on and what I want
Absolutely.
you to buy.
Yes, yes.
You know, so yeah.
Let's talk about one misconception your fans have about you.
Well, last night I got into a heated argument because this young lady from D.C., she said that, you know, I don't, you know, want to write my stuff in your style. And so when she used that word style, I mean, what you mean? I don't have a style. And so she tried to put me in, I'm an urban writer, which I coined that whole phrase, urban classics. But I also wrote love stories.
Yes,
I also
yes.
wrote newspaper articles.
Yes.
I also wrote poetry.
Yes.
I also wrote essays.
Yes.
I write press releases.
Yes.
I write. So when you call me it's like you trying to put me in a box. I say, oh, wait a minute. I wrote horror stories. I wrote Frankenstein stories,
Yes.
vampire stories,
Yes.
science fiction stories, international stories. But you gonna say I got a style? No, I don't have a style. I write anything. I'm an all-purpose writer. And she kept arguing about, no, you're known for this. I said, that's because that's what they want to read. That don't mean that's all I can do.
Exactly.
You know,
Well,
you're not gonna
it
put
sounds
me
like
in the
that's
box.
all she read.
Yeah, you know
That's
what I
all
mean? So it
she's-
just shows that, you know, so I got into that argument. But that's the whole thing. Like, don't try to ever put me, and right now it's the same thing with music.
Yes.
Because I'm starting to write, and I've been writing music for years.
Yes.
But I just wasn't putting it out because I still had the book business.
Yeah.
But now I'm coming all the way
And you have a
into
production company. Well, you have
music.
two
Hot
productions.
Live Entertainment.
But before that was
Yeah. High and Low Records.
Okay, yes.
I
Yeah,
had
let's
lots.
talk
So
about that,
I was
yes.
doing music. I did my first record in '94.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then I had a whole album in 2001. Then I put out a soundtrack album in 2004. But again, since I already had books, I never went all the way into music.
Yes.
I'm going all the way
But
in this
now,
time.
watch out.
I'm going all the way in
All
this
the
time. So,
way.
and it's the thing again, like, well, you write books, what you know about music? Okay, I grew up in Philadelphia during the 70s.
Yes.
I believe that's the Gambling Huff era.
Yes.
I believe we all listen to music.
Yes.
I believe I came up in the hip hop era of the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
I believe we all had house parties, block parties, club parties.
Yes.
You know, so somebody say, what do you know?
Yes.
Are you out of your mind? You know,
Exactly.
I'm black.
Yes.
What
yes.
black people you know that didn't listen to music?
Exactly,
Like, this is
exactly.
ridiculous. And so I'm like, yo, dude, I'm from Philadelphia.
Yes.
Like
Tell
in the
it.
70s.
Yes.
And so then it's like, okay, all right, you heard music. That don't mean you can write it. And so I'm a writer. I write everything. And so
That's
now I got to
awesome.
prove it.
That's
You know, it's
awesome.
going to be fun because I write all kind of different type of genre of music.
So you can actually write, or are you writing for your soundtracks for your films?
Well, I have ideas
Okay,
for
yes.
the soundtrack.
Yes.
I got about 4 to 6 original songs.
Yes.
But if you want to make sure it's authentic, I had to use the songs that we grew up on. Omar Tyree back out here, man, pulling that hot lava back out. I done went in my daggone drawers and dressers and pulled out the hat. I got my shirts now. I got my old jerseys. So that's the brand right there, baby.
Fast forward. American disease.
Yeah, American disease. Well,
Let's
you
talk
read some
about
of it? You shaking your head? You read some of it?
I am a victim of it, I think. Let's
Yes,
talk. You know,
indeed.
I'm going to admit that I am a victim.
Yes,
I am a
indeed.
victim. I am diseased.
Whoa.
I want to say
That's heavy.
It is. Let's
She
talk
used the
about
word.
it.
That's
yes,
heavy.
Yes.
I use that word disease because, again, I'm a word master. And so when I first talked about it, my friend right here from Philadelphia, I don't like that word disease. I said, look, if I call it the American struggle or the American dilemma or the American issue, it don't have that disease is
Yes,
a word
yes.
that you really like, what is that? And so I wanted to talk about the money problems that we continue to have, particularly in Black America, where we living from paycheck to paycheck in 2018. And we don't have no money to start nothing. And we still going to Mr. White Man to start everything.
Yes,
And I'm
yes.
like, are you kidding me? And then the ones who got money, mine,
Right.
no, you can't have this, no.
We're talking millionaires and billionaires can
Oh,
really
man.
help the community.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, with our organization, with our nonprofit,
Right.
we don't have a whole lot of money,
Yeah.
but we're always in the community helping.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
I don't get that. Like,
Yeah, well,
what is that about?
Again, man, it's the mental training that they end up with. Now, if we look at, you know, Jay-Z, I like his rap. He said, all us blacks got is sports and entertainment. And that's what he's in. He's in sports and entertainment. Now, with a lot of these individuals, you know, the entertainers, the egos is way out there. Now, I got an ego artistically. You talking
Yes,
about art.
yes,
I got a
yes.
big ego.
Yes.
Don't you talk about my art.
Yes.
But
yes.
outside of that, as far as being we walking around being Omar, I'm just a cool dude. I'm
Yes,
you know,
you
I'm
are.
from Philadelphia.
Yes, you
Hey,
are.
what's going
Yes,
on?
yes.
I'm a cool dude. I ain't got an ego in like. But some of these daggone entertainers,
Yes.
oh my goodness, that ego is huge. And then the athletes, right? You start talking about money and athleticism. Some of these guys play sports their whole lives. They ain't have time to be hustlers.
Yes.
So they don't know anything about money.
Right.
You know, I got an episode in my book, The American Disease, where this kid never had a bank account. And now he about to make $7 million a year, and you never had a bank account? So now we dealing with people that make all that money, they don't know the first thing about money.
Right.
And so they talk about black athletes going broke 3 or 4 years after their career's over. And man, you made all that money, now you ain't go, oh, I was spending on this, I spent it on that, I had a
The
manager,
bling
the
bling.
mismanager.
Right,
They
right.
ain't know what they were doing. But oh, if you ask them for $100,000 to invest in something, oh no, you gonna take my money and trying to get over on me. You know, so that's what we deal with. It's a disease, man. And then we got black folks that got some of the money, and it's like, okay, I'm not putting my money on the table. You know what I mean? I'm
Yes.
gonna move. I don't deal with black people.
Yes.
You
yes.
black, but you don't deal with black people.
Right,
Well, I've heard
right.
so many black people say that.
Yes.
It's
yes.
sick, man. And
they
it's
don't buy
who we
black.
are.
They don't deal. They don't
Oh,
shop
man.
black.
But
yes.
then you'll complain about some black stuff. You gonna complain, but you ain't helping out the
Yes.
process of what's going on here. And so I'm working real hard to create a new cash cow from that property, and then
Yes.
talk about it.
Yes.
And then when I start, bringing it in again,
Yes,
boy,
yes.
I'm gonna buy up all kind of stuff
Yes.
and put black people to work. But I'm
Absolutely.
gonna hold them accountable. I'm gonna tell you that
Absolutely.
right now.
Yes.
If I cut you a check, I'm on you. Did you do what you say you was gonna do?
Yes.
I'm gonna help you to do it.
Yes.
I'm gonna talk about your business. Say, hey man, go over there and support so and so.
Absolutely,
I'm gonna
yes.
go over there and have a block party and so. That's how you gotta do it to make sure it's
Yes.
successful.
Absolutely.
And I'm gonna make sure you run that thing. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Kudos
so we
to
can
you.
create
Yes.
more businesses
That's
up
the
and coming.
key.
You know?
That is the key.
Yeah,
That is the
and
key.
you got to get more of us to think and agree with those things and make
Yes.
that stuff happen. Because we
Yes.
got enough money to make stuff happen. But we always looking at it like, my money can't do that much. Yes, it can. You know, you may not have, 40 billion, but you can do a lot with 4 million.
Well, I mean, like I said, with our foundation, we're
Yeah.
doing it without millions,
Yeah.
and we get it done.
Yeah.
By the grace of God, we
Yeah,
get it
by
done.
the grace of God.
Yes.
Because that's why I wrote The American Disease.
Yes.
Because I had a tantrum.
Yes.
I've been trying to get investment money for the last 3 years, and it's a small amount. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I can't do it. I ain't got it. Can't do it. I ain't got it. My money's tied up. Everybody's money tied up, huh? Well, who the person that don't have money tied up?
Exactly.
And
That's
then
who
you
I
gotta
need to
get
talk
through
to. Yes.
5 gatekeepers.
Yes.
You know somebody that knows somebody that knows
Yes.
somebody that may know somebody that got money.
Yes.
I'm like, this is ridiculous, right? It's that hard for black people to get their hands on some money to start something. And so that's why I wrote The American Disease.
Yes.
It's a disease, it's a sickness. And then it ends up with desperate people going to desperate measures to get
their
desperate money.
Yes.
Including
yes.
reality shows where they are embarrassing us. And then all they talk about is the money.
And I must admit, I have never watched
You never watched them.
a reality show.
Yeah.
Speaking of the whole debt and
Right.
the disease, is the disease the disease to have the money and get the money,
of
or
it.
the disease to
All
not
of it.
have, not
All
have?
of it.
Okay, so it's
Capitalism
Yes.
is because you got some rich people
both. Yes.
that'll start saying, I ain't giving no handouts. I don't owe nobody nothing. Okay, let me stop buying your cars. Let me stop buying your jewelry. Let me stop going to your movie theaters. Let me stop renting your houses. Let me stop buying your groceries.
Right.
And we see how much money you have after that. Everybody gets support from other people to become millionaires and billionaires.
Yes.
But it's funny how they forget that support that allowed them to make that much money.
Yes.
You don't make your own money. There's no such thing as making money. You really are attracting money
Yes.
to what you're doing.
Good
Because if
point.
you are making money, that's illegal. If you're printing your own money, I made
Right,
my own
right,
money.
right, right.
Hey,
Yes,
wait a minute.
yes, yes,
Government
yes.
coming in to get you.
Yes.
You are attracting money.
Absolutely.
You got a whole sales force. You got people that believe in what you're putting out. Now, you might say, oh, the people are buying what they need. Isn't that? No, dude, we can buy something else. You need to be thankful that they're buying your thing.
Yeah,
You see what I'm talking about?
absolutely.
So whenever I hear this nonsense, I don't owe anybody. Dude, you owe everybody that supported you. Walmart,
Yes.
Microsoft,
Yes.
all these guys make all that money like that. Facebook, let us stop using Facebook.
Right.
Let us stop using Twitter, YouTube.
Right.
Let us stop watching Netflix.
Yes.
And then see how much money you got. And so you got to remember that that's all a part of the human thing. Even the Rockefellers understood it. We got all this money. You got to do something with it. You know what I mean? You got to
Yes.
help people. And so it's all a disease. If you don't have money, you trying to get it, and you're diseased because you broke. And then when you
Yes.
get wealthy, you diseased because now you're greedy.
Yes.
Dude, you don't need 80 billion. Really? Like, you need 80 billion? You don't. But they think about 81 and 90 billion. It's ridiculous. That's the disease I'm talking about.
Like, even if you gave up 1% of your
But
80 billion.
I'm not giving any handouts. I earned this. I worked hard. Like,
Yes.
no, really? Okay. Okay. A whole lot of people supported You know what I
Yes,
mean? What you
yes.
had to offer. And that's a
Absolutely.
blessing.
And I love the fact that you give back because you realize you're writing all these books.
Right.
Someone's got to buy them and read them.
Yeah.
We're
So I
buying
did
them
that
and
all
we're
the time.
reading them.
Thanks
Yes.
for your support. In every
Absolutely.
Book. And then I had one lady said, Omar, you said that in everybody's book. So I said, you are the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life. She smiled at behind her, you know. So
Yes.
you got to make me feel good because they making me feel good.
Absolutely,
You know?
yes.
So I did that all. I understood you don't have to buy my book. So when you buy it, I'm thanking you.
Yes.
You know, so
yes.
for a person to turn around and forget that whole process, I'm self-made millionaire. I don't know. Dude, you didn't make your own money.
Yes.
That's illegal.
Yes.
You support
yes.
it. You got people that, and so that once they realize that, particularly black people, because we know how hard we got it.
Yes.
Please don't
yes.
say that.
Yes.
But a lot of us say, I didn't get a dime from black people. All my money came from white men. They didn't support me. And that actually happens a lot of times. Now, we'll support the small thing. We'll support with the business. But as far as investing and making it happen, the big money, we still ain't there.
Scared.
We still ain't there.
We scared. American disease. Tell my audience how they can get it, where they can get it, all the outlets.
Yeah.
Every bookstore,
Barnes and Nobles, it's an ebook series.
Yes, ebook.
So you got Amazon.com, BarnesandNobles.com. Then I'm going to sell it from my website, OmarTyree.com, and Hot Lava Entertainment, which is my music entity, is going to sell it as well.
Truly excited about your career. I want to congratulate on
all
your accolades, and I am truly, truly elated, like I said, for you being here this evening. Look straight into the camera.
Got it.
Give some advice to, again, authors, screenwriters, just entrepreneurs in general.
The first thing I say is write is right. You know, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you got to hustle. You know what I mean? You got to do what you say you're going to do. Use that energy. And so my mother called me hyper. I've always been hyper. And successful people were hyperactive. We're not sitting in a corner. We're doing things. We're making things happen. We're doing extra hours. We're extra passionate. In fact, I put out a book called The Equation by Omar Tyree, the 4 indisputable components of all successful business. And in that, I have 4 components: love, art, support, and business. Okay, and the equation is love over art, time support equals business. And what that means is you start off by loving something. You got to love something that you do, and that forms a whole lot of passion, a whole lot of energy. Then you do something that you give 100% to. So love should be a high number, 90 to 100%. You start dropping down to 70, you're getting weak. You start dropping down to 60, you're getting weaker. 50% means sometimes you like it, sometimes you don't. That's not going to fly if you're trying to make things happen. And then the art part, you're trying to be number 1. It's competitive. You want to be the top dude. And so anything that you get the golden value, it's about being number 1. And so now you got love, a high number, over number 1. 100 divided by 1 is 100. And then you multiply that times how many supporters you can get. Now you got to attract people. You got to learn how to smile. You got to learn how to shake hands, tell people what your name is, make people like you, market and promote, be seen out on the scenes, wear nice clothes, whatever you need to do to get people to support you. Because then you're going to multiply the love and the art, and then that equals the business, and then you got to do it again, and that equals the business, then you got to do it again, and that equals the business again. And so business people, the first part of that is busy. Business. You got to stay busy. You can't do it and think it's just going to keep going by itself. Busy people stay busy. We're always doing it. So if you look at a whole lot of these owners, these white guys that own these teams, they ain't trying to give up no ownership. They ain't trying to give up no power. Them dudes are all gray heads going to the grave with it because they love what they do. So it ain't about retirement. Every time I hear somebody say, oh, I'm going to retire, I said, yeah, I know. I can tell they work for somebody else. They don't like what they do. You don't ever hear successful people talking about retiring because we love what we're doing. Yes. You will never hear Puff Daddy talk about retiring. I don't even call him P. Diddy because I grew up with the dude as Puffy. So you never will hear him talk about retiring. Jay-Z, 50 Cent, no way in the world. Maybe when they get 80, 90, this might talk, I'm getting a little old, tired now. But not right now. Nobody think about retiring but people who don't hustle. So that's the real keys. The Equation by Omar Tyree is another book you can buy.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I want to thank you and thank you and thank you again for coming, spending this time out. I know you have another engagement this evening, and
busy.
I just wanted, busy is good.
Let's get it.
That's keeping the busy in that business.
Yeah,
and
got
so
the Gatorade in. Is it in you?
Yes.
It's in me, boy.
I love it. I love it. And I want to thank all of you once again for tuning in to Celebrities in the Basement. And just remember, to every one fan, you have 2 haters. Just stay focused on your dreams. Keep the prayers going up, and you know the blessings will always, always come down. Thank you, and good night.
Legacies in the basement, the place to be. Karen Wilder Martin on your TV. Politics, drama, music, sports, arts. Favorite celebs, climbing the charts.
We got a lot of songs that come out, and we don't think about the kids out there. So we got a little something for the kids from Omar Tyree, the old head. All right?